Let's move to international news. And over the weekend, Russia confirmed that DNA samples had positively identified Wagner boss Yevgeny Prigozhin as one of the victims of last week's plane crash. The Wagner group, of course, has for many years acted as Russia's unofficial group with extensive involvement in the Ukraine war, most recently, and Africa, of course. But with Prigozhin's march towards Moscow recently to demand changes in the top structures of Russia's military, relations clearly soured. At the time, Russia gave the Wagner boss a home in Belarus, but the plane crash is widely believed to be revenge for challenging Vladimir Putin. Now Wagner troops have been asked to sign allegiance to the Russian military. So what does this mean for Wagner troops already in African countries? I'm joined now by Federica Sani Fasanotti. She studied this group extensively. She's a senior associate at Ispi Milan. Ispi is the Italian Institute for Political Studies. Federica, thank you so much for joining us. Do you believe that Prigozhin do you believe that Prigozhin was most likely deliberately killed by Russia?
It's very probable. I mean, what he did 2 months ago was clearly something unacceptable for Putin. And if we think what Putin did to Navalny, for example, who did nothing in this sense, here we are, talking about a big mutiny. So it's very probable a backlash to what Prigozhin did.
And now it's been positively identified it was Prigozhin on that plane. Russia is now asking for Wagner troops to basically sign allegiance to the military. Does that mean that the plausible deniability that Putin might have had for any of Wagner's actions is going to end? Because he's essentially saying they're officially part of the military.
That's a problem, you're right. One of the strongest points of the Wagner group was exactly the fact that they acted for the Kremlin, but on the other side they were absolutely distant from the state, the government. So in this case, they could move in a foggy way, not be detected. And above all, the Kremlin was absolutely distant from any cruel action made by and criminal action made by the Wagner group. But the Wagner group is just one of the constellation of contractors, Russian contractors that are operating in Africa. It's not just the Wagner.
So talk to me then, let's focus on Wagner for a moment. Which countries are they most active in? I mean, we're hearing a lot about the Sahel region. Niger said they would bring in Wagner to defend themselves, the military coup leaders, if ECOWAS tried to take action against them. We know that they've been very active in the Central African Republic, also a presence in Mozambique. Just talk to me about their current activities in Russia, in Africa.
Well, they are absolutely still active in Libya, which is the country that I follow the most. And just a few days ago, Russian officials went to Libya in order to to the east side of the country in order to talk with Field Marshal Khalifa Haftar, who is one of the competitors in this big battle that we have seen in Libya since 2011. And probably they have some contact now with the junta in Niamey, in Niger, after the coup d'etat that we have seen in the last weeks. And they are active in the Central African Republic, as you said. They've been active in Mozambique, in Sudan. They have absolutely a presence in the continent, and this is very difficult and dangerous for the West, and above all, of course, for Europe, because Russia can operate in order to create more instability in all the area of the Sahel and the Maghreb.
I mean, it seems from what I've read that the aim is twofold. It's quite lucrative because it seems that a lot of these countries need protection, particularly around terrorist threats. The Wagner Group, not known for its human rights record, so they're pretty brutal and terrifying, come in perhaps, say, to defend a gold mine and then keep control of that mine, but it seems also cream off some of the profits. But at the same time, they're fulfilling some sort of political end goal for Russia. And as you mentioned, they're one of just a number of countries. So talk to me about the end goal. What is the plan?
Well, the plan is, first of all, in this moment, is absolutely important to be on the stage on the African continent. So this is fundamental now that they are in a sort of corner, let's say, on the international stage. Africa has an extraordinary, as you know better than me, an extraordinary potential in economic terms. And in resources also. So Russia has always been connected to different African nations. And then Russia doesn't have a Mediterranean fleet. Like, for example, the United States. The United States have the Sixth Fleet, which is operating and has a base in Naples, Italy. And not having a fleet, a Mediterranean fleet, having just a strategic basis, like, for example, in Libya, that could be, would really represent a game changer for Putin, for sure.
And do you anticipate any change in the way the Wagner Group operates, bearing in mind they now have no leader? Will they just be seen as part of the Russian military, or do you think they will keep their distinct identity?
As you said, they've already started to sign under the Ministry of Defense. So this process has already started. It's not a case, probably, and it's very strange, by the way, in military terms, that Prigozhin was found in the same plane with Utkin, Dmitry Utkin, which was the real operative man, chief, internally to the Wagner. So now that the leadership has been beheaded, I think that it will be very probable that someone will be put for the meantime, but probably the Wagner will change. It's difficult to say if they will change the name, but will change a lot in terms of organization, I think, and that there will be a more interconnection with the Kremlin.
Just last week here in Johannesburg, we had the summit of the BRICS nations. The Russian president wasn't here because, of course, there's that international arrest warrant out for him. But what do you make of South Africa's failure to condemn Russia's actions in Ukraine? Do you think that Russia and South Africa are close, and do you think that could serve both countries, or is it more going to serve Russia?
Well, I think that they are coming more and more closer, it seems to be. And it's one of the biggest interest of Putin, because South Africa is an extraordinarily rich country. And absolutely, on the international stage. So for sure, I think that Putin will be very attentive on your country.
All right, I want to thank you so much for your insights. Really fascinating to chat to you. Federica Saini Fasanotti, she's a senior associate at the Italian Institute for Political Studies in Milan. Thank you very much.